If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.
Line talked about a priority to get bigger in the interior part of the line and kind of talked in a very universal way. Now, I'm not going to ask you to talk about specific players, but with Gary Kubiak's system going back to his days, not just in Houston, but in Denver, the zone stretch scheme, a reputation for typically lighter, more athletic offensive linemen. With Kubiak in place now, as opposed to, at the time, Jim Caldwell's still your offensive coordinator, does that philosophy as far as what you're looking for with the offensive line, is that different now than it was the 4th of January or whenever that was?
It's a great question. I think that's something we've got to decide, as we go forward here in the next 2 months, month, whatever it is. Big and athletic is something that we've always said here. So we want to be as big as we can be and as athletic as we can be. So where do you draw that balance?
Right.
We don't need a bunch of big, stiff slugs. We've had that here at times, and those guys can't run well. We don't need a bunch of little guys that are going to get pushed around. It's just not what the Ravens are all about. So we've got to find that balance, and we're talking with Coach Kubiak a lot about that. He feels the same way. I think maybe, it just depends on the players that change. It probably gives, Gino a chance, in there. He's an athletic guy, and he's really a smart guy, so Gary likes Gino a lot. So he'll be in there competing, Ryan Jensen will be competing, and whoever else we add. But we need to rebuild the offensive line. And in my mind, we're building it almost from the ground up. So Marshall's going to be part of that. KO's going to be a part of that. After that, who's it going to be? Michael and Eugene have been in the building almost every day that I've been back. And I've been back every day since the season was over. So those guys have been in there working out almost every day. So obviously those two guys are very interested in coming back. So Ozzy's put contract proposals out now to various guys. I don't know if they've gotten those exactly yet or what, but we're going to go after the guys.
The future of Terrell Suggs. Ozzy addressed it in the end of the season press conference. I guess I should start by saying, can you explain to us, because from afar, it looked like Terrell fell off in the second half of the season. Was it as bad as it appeared on tape, or is that when you're watching on a TV screen or on from a press box, you're missing certain things that Terrell was doing in the second half of the season?
Yeah, I'd have to let him speak to that, really. But I think that the numbers reflected his disappointment. He was disappointed. He wasn't happy with the way it finished up, and it had an impact on us. It makes a difference. You need Terrell Suggs playing like Terrell Suggs all the time. And he's capable of doing that. There's no doubt in my mind that he's going to do that. That's what I'm doing looking forward. He came back in great shape. He comes back in even better shape this year. Leans up a little bit more. Even he came back very lean this year, even leaner. Start chasing that rookie weight a little bit. Start chasing that body. That's what I'm talking about, training in a different way.
I've been trying to do that for the last couple of years.
We're going to get a trainer.
You've told me that before, and it still hasn't happened.
You got to work it. Really.
I try. I'm on the air. I'm sitting for 20 hours a week.
Drink the rage, drink.
I'm working on this new microphone that works on a treadmill.
Yeah,
he can do the show. Maybe first hour of the show.
When I started covering the team, I was a much different person. Are you confident Terrell will be a Raven in 2014?
I am.
Okay.
I am. I can't say for sure. I'm going to be confident. I'm believing. And I think Ozzy and Terrell and his people are going to get it done. And the idea is, he said, we got 1 year left. So, we can play it out this year and all that. That'd be fine. Really, you don't look past a year really as a coach anyway. You don't look past the game, past the practice. But I'd love to see him here for the next 5 years and see him finish up a Raven. See if he can get himself a statue out front of the stadium. See what we can do about that.
He is John Harbaugh, the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. He has been so kind. You're headed to dinner in a bit, aren't you?
This is got romance in a big city, man.
Yeah, right?
Listen carefully. I think the stomach's growling, right?
Yeah, right.
Well,
Ingrid's sitting right here, so this is our first date since before training camp started.
Really?
And he's sitting here talking football.
Right.
I know.
Right. That's probably a mistake. We appreciate it, but it's probably a mistake.
Well, she set the interview. Your lovely wife and her organized this whole thing, Nestor.
That's true.
Boy, I'm getting married in May. You have any advice?
Well, see, you got hosed into this.
I think I need to talk to your fiance.
Oh,
you got hosed into this. Ingrid sends the text and says, we're having dinner at 5:45. I said, where? She said, there. I said, it's across the street from where we are. New York's a big place.
So that's how this happened. Can you give me the timeline of this conversation so I can understand exactly how this went down?
You don't want anything erroneous being reported.
If she just would have made dinner reservations on the Upper West Side or down in Soho, no Harbaugh here.
So tell me about journalism.
Okay, journalism 101.
Oh, here's where we step in. What would you like to know? Come on, what would you like to know? You interviewed me.
I remember a class, they talked about fact, they talked about opinion, and they talked about fiction, right? Where does fiction fit into journalism?
Not at WNST.
You know, this is fascinating. There's a new world. I mean, this is really what it is. There's a new world.
Yeah, you hire a guy on Monday that no one thought was on your radar. Then you have a press conference where you say, I led you guys, whatever you said, that was kind of a funny little, I had you on the
that
run.
Was probably a mistake.
You know,
I was trying to be funny. I'm not a very funny guy. Hey, I'll tell you what, check me
You
next
can be
time.
funny.
You can be funny.
Yeah.
I like it better than funny.
But why do people take funny then make it into serious sometimes?
They're going to take whatever you...
Because if it's in print,
You won the world championship last year. You know, I set off 30 years ago to be loved by everybody. It hasn't worked out so well. You know what I mean? And I've just accepted. In your position, some people are going to hate you. It's unbelievable to me the people that wrap their house in purple, put a purple flag out with a purple basement. You bring them a trophy last year in a parade. We've had 2 now. Billy Yesterday's news and all, Brandon Stokely, all those guys. And it's still not good enough. Joe's still not. Week 1, Joe's getting booed. You got booed the first 3 games at home this year because the offense was clearly struggling. And I'm thinking to myself, I give you 5 years apiece when you win the Super Bowl. Seriously, you get 5 years that if we don't make it, it's okay.
Luke said he's only giving you 6 months, though. So
I know you want to win
news.
again. I know you want to win again. But I guess the thing is, what Glenn's getting at is the minute the word leaks and it's out that Kubiak's the guy, we all have to have an opinion now. Now, it doesn't have to be good or well-founded, and I can't get you on text. We have to say something. So, the something you say defines whether it's fact, you're hiring Gary Kubiak, opinion, I like it, I don't like it, fiction, the owner came in and slapped Harbaugh around because it's an 8-8 team. Steve said something to me last year that I put in the book, it was on your website. Steve said to me, I've been doing this 30 years. If you believe, he said this to me about Cameron last year, he said, if you think that I called John Harbaugh on the bus on the way back from Washington because I've got some disdain for the Redskins and I was emotional and said, you must fire Cam Cameron, then you don't believe the 30 years of history of what I've done. He said he gave it to you in your contract and in his handshake, which he said was even more important than the contract, that you hire your coaches. If he had dictated that to you, our opinion was that you would tell Steve, I'll go coach another team. That if he came in and threw his hand down after you won a championship, 5 years of playoffs, that you as a person, because I know what you're made of, you'd say, Steve, that wasn't our deal. What are you doing here? That was my opinion, that you would walk away from the Ravens before you'd get pushed around per your contract and your relationship. Your thoughts?
My thought is that your opinion is fact. And that's really kind of what it boils down to. I mean, Steve Bisciotti would never do something like that. And not very many coaches in this league would stand for it. And that's not what it's all about.
Well, you're all tough guys, and you're all strong-minded guys, and you all think that you're the best coach, and you all think coaches better than Steve or anybody, and these are the guys you've got to get in there and go to war with.
The thing that's just a little disappointing is that you're around guys, even in the media, we're around each other pretty much every day. During the season, during OTAs, during training camp, you feel like you get to know people. You feel like you build a relationship. You've got relationships with pretty much everybody to one degree or another. And then when you get attacked in kind of a way that's kind of, I would say, character assassination, that's what really kind of gets under your skin. It's like, I can live with, hey, they didn't manage the clock well, might disagree, didn't call the right play, agree or disagree, weren't good enough. Okay, agree.
I think Kyle Shanahan's a better coordinator than Gary Kubiak. That could be an opinion you could have on Monday.
Right, but don't be going after some ways that are really that are really below the line. When you go below the line like that, now it's not professional anymore. And that's where when you start to get insulting in ways like that, when you start insulting someone's character, then that's a problem.
I agree wholeheartedly.
That's why I haven't talked to that guy in 15 years. So,
He is John Harbaugh, the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens.
If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.